everyone! Today I have a video for you that is a little bit different. Since Catrice is now much more widely available, I figured I would let you all know a little bit about the brand and everything that I own, because I have been using this brand for 5-6 years now, and in many cases I've been using this brand almost exclusively for quite a few years. So I figured I would give you a little overview of all the products they have and what I think about them. So for starters, I'm going to go with foundations. Right now I have two Catrice foundations in my collection. One is the Even Skin Tone foundation, Beautifying foundation in 005 Even Ivory. This is a brand new foundation. It just came out in their new among their new products. And then I have this is semi-new to me. This is the Catrice All Matte Plus foundation in 010 Light Beige. I used to have the Catrice Mattifying foundation that came before this one. That was the Catrice Infinite Matte foundation. Both claim to last up to 18 hours, and I was the same shade in the Infinite Matte. Now they changed a few ingredients, so in general I'm going to see if I still like this one the same as I liked the old one, and I also will try this one a few more times before I'm going to be able to say anything about it. In general, I have to say though, this one so far, I have applied this today and I filmed a tutorial when I applied my makeup today. I like this a lot so far from the application and everything, and if this one really is just a revamped version of the Infinite Matte, then I'm gonna like this one as well. To give you a quick comparison on the shades, I am actually going to show you two foundations that you might know better. One foundation I'm going to show you in shade wise with is the Revlon Color Stay for Combination Oily Skin in 110 Ivory. And the other foundation is the Wet n Wild Cover All Cream Foundation in, let me see, E815 Fair. So I'm going to give you quick swatches on my arm. So from top to bottom, let me do it that way. Yeah, from top to bottom, from here, this is the Revlon Color Stay in 110 Ivory. This one here is the Even Skin Tone foundation in 005 from Catrice. This here is the Catrice All Matte Plus foundation in 010 Light Beige. And this one here that is trying to hide a bit is the Wet n Wild Cover All Cream foundation in Fair. So as you can see, shade wise they are relatively similar. I think in general all over I can say that the All Matte Plus is the darkest so far, and the Wet n Wild is pretty close to the Revlon foundation. So there we go with the colors. Now I'm going to blend these in a bit more, and then I'm just going to wait and see what happens if they oxidize or anything, because I think that is important too. Now granted, this is on my arm and not on my actual skin, which does make a difference for some part, but yeah. Here you can see them again. All four foundations. The All Matte Plus is definitely the darkest. It's the one that I will have to work with the most. And I think this has gotten a tad bit darker than before. Whereas the Infinite Matte. And the other foundations, the Revlon Color Stay, which is right here, This one matches my skin perfectly, and I think from the swatches, I think the Wet n Wild and the Even Skin Tone look like they would be a good match shade-wise as well. Well, I mean, I have the Even Skin Tone on today, and I can't complain yet. I have to wait and see if they oxidize. I'm going to add that later. Other products for your face in general, I have the Catrice Camouflage Cream. And as you can see, I have quite a bit of a dip in here, and I have pans showing. This is in 010 Ivory. And I'm going to swatch this right next to the foundations. This is a very nice color for me. It's right here. It is a tad bit more on the yellow side, and I like this a lot. So this is definitely a good match for me if I want to cover up blemishes and the likes. No matter which foundation I use, it just works wonderfully. And it is very creamy and highly pigmented, so you need to be very careful with the application. But that also means these pods last ages, and it says it's good for 6 months. Now, as long as the consistency, color, and the scent don't change, I use these until they are all gone. Usually that takes a bit over 6 months, but this is like the second or third that I am using up right now, and in between I was just trying to use up old concealers that I was not using anymore because I just like this one the most, and I'm definitely repurchasing this for as long as I can. Then I have the Catrice Color Correcting Mattifying Powder. This is in 010 Delicate Blossom. However, as far as I know, there exists only one shade, and that is it. As you can see, it has a more green toned shade in here. There's an orange, there's a pinky shade, and there is a purple shade. Now what this is supposed to do, it is supposed to help color correct dark circles, red areas, more blue or more green areas and all that. It's supposed to just color correct your skin, and it is also mattifying, and this is something that it definitely does for me. I like using this product a lot so far. I had, before this one, I was using the Essence All About Matte Fixing Compact Powder, and that was also good, but I like the color correcting that this one does. So I might be getting this one over the Essence one, just even if this one is, I think, €1 more expensive, like $1 more expensive than the Essence product. But I like using that a lot, and even though I don't have pan yet, I have a significant dip in here. Not sure if you can see that. But I like this product a lot, and it does not leave a white cast on my skin like the Essence does. So that is quite nice. And the mattifying part of this product, it is okay. I have not yet found a powder where I would not have to touch up after 4, 5, 6 hours. So this is right in line with the other products that I have, and I have used high-end powders. I have used cheaper alternatives. I have the MAC Blood Powder, for example, and I have a one that I need to use up still before I repurchase a new powder. But in general, I have to say this is just as good as the MAC Blood Powder, only this one is color correcting on top of that. And the MAC powder just is supposed to mattify and soak up the oils. So so far I have to say this one is very nice. However, you need to take into account that I'm relatively pale. I'm very fair, which you can see with the foundations I am using and the concealers and all that. So if you are a lot darker, you might actually have a cast showing up on your skin with this one. But I recommend that you try it, and I would recommend that you just give it a shot if you are looking for a mattifying and color correcting powder, because this one does a good job in my opinion. So this is what it shows up on my finger. It's relatively pale, but can't even get it to show up on my arm really, because once you blend it out, there you go, a little bit. Once you blend it out, it's just gone. color corrects a little bit, it mattifies, and then on my skin tone it really disappears. For blushes, I do not have too many products right now because I try to keep that number a little bit lower because I was going crazy with the blushes. And I have a total of over 30 before I started my project pans. But I like their blushes a lot, and I actually can see me buying more in the future once my Project 30 pan is over. So for starters, this is a limited edition product. This is a cream to powder blush called Coral A La La from the Siberian Call collection. This is a little bit older and I'm trying to pan this right now. But they have those cream or cream to powder blushes in their limited editions on a regular basis, and I can only recommend them if you can get a hold of them. This one is insanely pigmented. It's a nice corally orange shade. Let me just show you a swatch on my finger here, on my arm, and then let me blend this out a little bit. I also have this on my cheeks today. There you go. It's a very orange blush, so I got the warm tones obviously because I am more warm toned. These colors suit me better, but I like them a lot. And these cream to powder blushes, for one, they last quite a long time, and I don't know how they do it, but this one has not gone bad yet. Like the color, the consistency, and everything, it's still the same as when I bought it. So I'm definitely using this one up until it is completely gone. Next up, I have the Catrice Multicolor Blush. This is in 070 Iced Caramel Macchiato. This is a little bit of an older product. And they have 4 different shades. I have never used them individually because that just is nothing I like. Now, what I do with these is, let me just grab a blush brush. I'm going to swatch these for you. However, I'm going to use them the way I apply them on my skin, because I think this gives a more a better swatch, and you can see more what it would look like on your skin, because I don't think you would apply a powdered product with your fingers. So this has 4 colors, and I usually just swirl my brush in it, tap it off, and then apply it. Now it's a tad bit darker only. This is very much my winter blush because it is incredibly sheer, but in winter I'm even more pale it feels, and I don't want too much of a blush look going. And so this one is quite nice. Now you can see a tiny hint of a sheen right here. And obviously next to the cream to powder blush, this is much more obvious than the iced macchiato, but this is a very nice, I would almost say this is a movie taupey shade. And in theory that would be too cool for me, but for some reason this one works, and they also have a more pinky color. So I can, if you don't want too much of a color on your face, or if you're new to applying makeup, try these blushes because they are a tad bit more sheer. And you can definitely build those up though. Like, now here's a build up a bit more right over here. And this is not exactly a matte finish. This has a tiny bit of a sheen to it, but I like this one a lot. And then the last blush I have is this one here. This is the Catrice Defining Duo Blush in 050 Apricot Smoothie. It has a more orangey shade on this side and a more pinky shade on this side. However, you can apply these either individually or you can swirl these together. And these are also quite nicely pigmented. So I'm going to show you these. So this is a new one. I have not used this one yet, unfortunately, because I got this and then I got this I think a month before I decided to do Project Pan to downsize my collection a little bit. And yeah, so I'm first applying this more orangey shade right over here, the bigger side. Just, this is awkward. I can't do it that way. Hold up. let me try this here. Now, I'm not very ambidextrous, mind you. Here we go. This is a very subtle application as well. And then the more pinky side. There you go. Now, as you can see, if you apply these with a brush, you don't need to work too much to blend them out, which I like a lot. There's the more pinky side, this is the more orangey side. God, this is really awkward, I'm sorry, I'm not... Here you go. So, and swirl together, swirl, swirl, swirl. This is the mixed shade. So the orangey shade is a bit lighter, the more pinky shade is right here, and then swirl together you have this shade, and you can obviously build this up, or you can also blend this out a bit more. Obviously I would just blend it out because I'm pale, but yeah, I like these blushes a lot. They are a lot better than the, they have those blushes that look a bit like, they are like a woven basket. They have this pattern on them. I don't like these a lot. They just are not all that pigmented, so I just steer clear of those unless I want a very, very, very natural finish even on my skin tone. So that's when I would use those, and in general I try to use these or these if I want powder blushes, and obviously I will go for a cream to powder blush from Catrice if I want a very pigmented color. So going back into my foundations and the concealer as you can see has set, doesn't budge anymore. This is good to stay despite not using any powder over it. You can see here that the All Matte Plus actually has oxidized a little bit. This is a bit darker now than it used to be, and this will be hard for me to use on my skin tone. Now, this is the Revlon Color Stay, which I use on a regular basis. This does not oxidize, and this looks good on my skin tone. Obviously, my arm is even paler than the underside of my arm is paler than my skin. But there is that. And then this one is the Even Skin Tone Beautifying Foundation from Catrice in 005 Even Ivory. This one can work as well. As you can see, it's a tad bit darker than the Revlon Color Stay. And the fourth one right here, that is the Wet n Wild Cover All Cream Foundation in Fair. I think this one is also very close to these two, so this might work as well if it works for my oily skin. In general, I have to say, I think they changed the formula of this a bit, at least color wise, because it did not oxidize on me before, and it also did not really change. It was not that dark. I mean, that is here next to my forehead. As you can see, it is quite a bit darker than my my skin, so this might be a problem, but I'll figure it out. So yeah, this has now been on my arm for about 20 minutes. Quite disappointing, honestly, but yeah. So if you're darker than me, if you use maybe the Revlon foundation in a number up, then the Catrice All Matte Plus in 010 Light Beige might be an option for you. But if you use the Color Stay or the Photo Ready in 110 Ivory, then I recommend you steer clear of that because it apparently oxidizes. And this was only on my arm. No primer, no powder, no anything about it. It was just the foundation.